You know, one item that can be controversial in the gun community is safes.
I'm at my house. I can do whatever I want with my guns.
I know what you're thinking. What about safes is controversial? Well, today we're going to talk about that because not only do politicians use safes as a tool in order to push forward their agendas, but also gun owners talk between themselves about safes and the use of them. Are they really worth the money? How do you buy one? How do you pick one? And all of the considerations that come with them. Now, just like y'all, as my collection grows, the need for additional safes and additional space grows as well. So I'm going to show you an option here and kind of compare it to a safe in a way and see if there is a way where you can ditch the clunkiness of a safe but still have your firearms safe and secure and also display them as well. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Of course, I want to hear your opinion afterwards. If you've used this option, or maybe you think it is a better option than a safe, or maybe you think safes are the only way to keep your gun secure. Let me know what you think after the video. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Here is the option that I actually went with. This is the Holdup Displays gun wall. Now I know what you're thinking right off the rip. There's no way that that's secure whatsoever, but I am going to tell you some things that I believe you must have in order to use this and for it to be secure. So just kind of hang with me here. But as far as what this is aluminum slats, right? They're used from cold rolled steel. They use steel and wood, like what you see behind me, out of the United States, right? So it's all made right here, and these slats interconnect. So you have a couple different options when you're looking at this stuff. Essentially, you can go with their predetermined sizes, or you can do custom orders. So if you have a smaller or bigger space, you can kind of go there. So what I did is I have an 11.5 foot by 4 foot wall. So we got 48-inch slats and 36-inch slats, leaving a little bit of space on one side. Now I do have a kind of surprise wall that I want to show y'all here towards the end of the video. So I want you guys to see it. I think it looks really awesome. But anyways, you have a variety of different options. So there's smaller ones, just like what I had before. There's bigger ones like what you see here. It really just depends on your space and your needs. The nice part is you don't have to buy it all at once, right? If you want to start with one of the smaller kits that they have, well, then you can just build on top of that. So you can do another side and then this side and then add above it or below it, whatever your space really requires, and eventually have the entire wall here filled out, or whatever wall that you may be using. Now I went with the black walnut because I think it just looks like an old school kind of traditional like M1 Garand or M1 carbine type of wooden traditional look. It just, I don't know, I really think it pops, and then you put modern guns on it and I don't know, it just has a really nice contrast. They have black, FD, silver, white gunmetal, so there's a variety of different options as well. And all you do is start at the bottom, you make sure you find your studs, of course, and then you start putting them in. And then there's covers for these things. So, you know, all of your screws will be covered up. You can put end caps on them as well. I think they go up to like 48 inches for the end caps. And then, of course, you add the accessories, right? So we have, now one thing I want to go ahead and tell you guys, if you're already kind of liking the setup, or if this is something you're already looking at, remember that I actually have a specialized discount code through my channel only. So if you email Tyler at Holdup Displays and you tell him Headshot sent you, you get $50 off when you spend $100 or more. That's a pretty deep discount. Now they already have a tiered system. So if you spend $500, you get $50 off. Well, technically you're entitled to $100 off if you make sure you email Tyler at Holdup Displays, tell him that I sent you, you get $50 off plus the tiered system. And it goes all the way up too. It's not just $500. You get more money off the more you spend, plus the additional amount of money that I was able to save you when me and Holdup Displays were kind of working that stuff out. So that's pretty freaking awesome. So if you already like these or already looking at one of these and want to save some more money, make sure that you email Tyler and tell him that I sent you. We have 2 of their large display shelves. I actually have 1 vertical rack that I'm using right now, and then I could put one on the opposite side. I have some of their horizontal rifle holders. I have some of the horizontal pistol holders. I think, to me, the firearms look the best when they're horizontal, but they also have some that are at a 45-degree angle. Those are the ones that I used, well, I've been using for the past 4 years when I had pistols on my old wall. I have a motorcycle helmet over here. So they have helmet and plate carriers as well. I have some of the longer like rubber coated hangers so I can put my ear pro on there, and I even have some of their magazine holders. So I put a lot of pistol mags in there because that's what I have a lot of that, right? But I also put some GoPros in one of the holders because it just makes it convenient, and it gets my GoPros from just being on a desk somewhere to actually being up on the wall. When I need to grab one or a couple, I just pull them right out. I have some Harley gloves up there. I even have a flamethrower on the wall. So you can see with just my 11.5-foot wall here by 4 foot high, I was able to get quite a few guns on here, and I could maximize this space even more if I were to take more of the guns and do them vertical as opposed to horizontal. But again, I just really like the horizontal look of it. So you put it all together, this is what you got. So I know what some of you are thinking. Wow, yeah, that looks nice, but how can you actually keep it secure? Well, here's some requirements I think you must have for something like this. First of all, I think it's kind of obvious. You don't want to put something like this in a living room. Unless you already live in a concrete bunker, I don't think I would do that, right? But at least have a good door that can be locked as a minimum. Now, if you want to take that a step above, let's say you put something like this in a closet or you make a vault room. This is something that people do. Of course, this is money that you have to spend and invest in, but it is something that you can absolutely do, having concrete poured into the walls and just essentially making sure that the space is fireproofed on its own. Now, there's other things that you can do. Of course, watching wires and not overloading circuits and making sure GFIs are installed in bathrooms and watching grease fires and having fire extinguishers. This is something I learned from James Yeager years ago. I never really thought about it, but not a lot of people have fire extinguishers in their home. And I have 3. I have one up here, I have 2 downstairs, and everybody knows where they are, right? So if a fire extinguisher is ever moved in my house, I make sure everybody knows, hey, here's the new location, okay? Smoke detectors, having an active monitored system with smoke detectors as well. And look, you can't prevent everything, but at a bare minimum, I believe in order to have something like this and to keep it secure, you need to have a door that locks. And of course, we can, do a lot inside of our homes to lessen the chance of having a fire. Now, let's say you have the door locked, but you just don't like the idea of keeping the door open any amount of time, and you want to have this locked up as well. Well, there is a way to do that. And this is what they've come up with. So it essentially uses the same type of design to match the wall, but it has a slot in it, and then it has an additional piece here. And then once you run your cable through your trigger locks, through your guns, you can attach it all right here. You can kind of, it doesn't have to be so obvious that it's locked up. Somebody goes to try to grab this off though, they're gonna have one heck of a time trying to remove this, so you can actually have these locked up. And that's just one of the locking things they have. Now, as far as the cons with this system, I would definitely just, if you go to buy one of these, just buy it without the lock, because they tell you straight up, these locks are made in China. They cannot be keyed alike. So if you want to have a key that operates all your locks, just do it without the lock and buy yourself a nice one, and one that will actually fit right through the additional little piece here once it goes through the slot. So there are some options there as well. But I think the first line of defense is having a good lockable door, right? A good lock, having an upgraded kick panel on that door can really make it almost impossible to try to break into your house and into a room. And then if you want to have additional security with some of the locking options they have, of course you could do that as well. But not that this is a home defense type of video, but when it comes to keeping your place secure, I'm a big fan of my dog that just ran out of here. I'm a big fan of having preventable measures with motion detectors, monitored security systems, noisemakers on your cameras, so if they spot somebody, these types of things, they're not going to deter everybody, but they do work. And again, having those upgraded striker plates in your doors, highly recommend. So you can have a very secure option and display your firearms, and let's just be honest, this is not clunky like a safe or anything like that. This is something you can display them nicely, pull them off the wall when you want to, lock them up when you want to as well. So is there a little give and take with this option? Yes, of course there is, but it's kind of like that with everything, right? With safes, they're going to take up a lot of space. You're probably going to have multiple of them as your collection grows. These are first world problems, but this right here, this option right here, I really like. And it gave me the motivation to transform this entire room, which I'm super stoked about. Now, I did have an additional wall that I wanted to show you. This is my World War II wall. For a lot of you guys that don't know what I do here, it's kind of a mixture now of gun reviews and political topics, especially revolving around firearms, and whether that's what happened with Trump last year or certain self-defense scenarios. And firearm reviews are a big part, they have been a big part of what I do here. And every once in a while, I will sneak in some World War II stuff or more historical videos because I just like that stuff. And so while they may not get as many views, I really enjoy putting that type of content out. And so I got the American flag wall specifically from Holdup Displays. They were nice enough to send that one as well. And I put some of my World War II stuff up on that wall. And I gotta tell you, you could probably put anything on that one and make it look good. But the World War II guns with some of the memorabilia, the trench art, the shooting award, the ashtray from, Germany from, I don't know, 1940 or something. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff over there. And just the entire display as a whole looks really, really nice with the older World War II guns. So there you go, man. There is a way to actually display your firearms and keep them secure at the same time. But of course, I want to hear your opinion. What do you think could make this more secure? Is this an option that you would go with over a safe? Or do you think buying a safe is the only way that you would have your firearms? And of course, keeping firearms away from people you don't want having them is something that I definitely recommend. And so I'm never going to recommend an option that I don't think is going to be secure. And as long as you kind of follow some of the stuff that I've done and some of the stuff that I've talked about, yes, you can have the best of both worlds. There you go, man. Big thanks to you guys. I appreciate what you do, and make sure that you let me know what you think about this setup right here. See you in the next one, and as always, holding down.